yeah, if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, Wendy Y. Bailey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another great episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. Wendy Y here, and I'm excited to share today's guest with you. Steve Fredlund has been a lifelong resident of rural Minnesota. We'll talk about sort of what that's like for him as a small business owner. And he served in a number of large corporations, including Medtronic and 3M, as an actuary working in capital market hedging and workforce analytics. Wow, some really, really detailed jobs that he held. I thought it was fascinating that Steve also holds an MBA in mathematics. That's fascinating to me too. And today he is here as the founder of the Small Business. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about that in our conversation today. Welcome, Steve.
Well, thanks, Wendy Y. Man, it's great to be here. I love the energy that you bring in the show and very much honored to be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So my first question, rural Minnesota?
Yeah. Actually, fifth generation in the same community. My kids are number 6. So yeah, I grew up about an hour north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is maybe the only city that people know in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And yeah,
is there anything outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul?
Well, there are a few. There's you might know Rochester for the Mayo Clinic. You might know Duluth on the shores of Lake Superior. Yeah. But basically, it's flyover country, but it's home to us. And so I grew up about an hour north of the Twin Cities. Still live there. But I did spend about 30 years, driving an hour each way every day to work in Minneapolis, St. Paul. But home is home, right? And for me, that's in a more rural setting.
Yeah, I love that. And after more than 30 years in corporate America, I know the last couple of years, you've been creating your own small business. How did that come about for you?
Yeah, it was kind of a long process. And part of it really is because I never really felt like I was a corporate guy, which as funny as that sounds, like you said, being an actuary, working in investments, all of these things, like I did the part, had success, blah, 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 but I never really felt like these are my people. But I did it for a lot of years because, it's a paycheck and it's a good paycheck working in corporate America. But, so it was a long process, but then it sort of came to an end fairly quickly, as I moved into another role, moved into a global role, and it was immediately like, this is not really my thing. It was, it was a successful thing. It was a promotional thing. But I ended up being an analytic working in HR in an open office environment. And as an analytic who basically it's just, I just want me and my spreadsheets, and now I'm thrust in a place where, thrust into a place where it's sort of like chaos. And we tried to work it out, but, the team really needed a high collaborative, people kind of, popping in and out of each other all day. And I was more the analytical side, and it just wasn't a good fit. And eventually it just felt like this is maybe, kind of the signal or, the right time to take out. All my kids had graduated high school, talked to my wife who was petrified, and came up with a plan, really just worked through it and said, okay, let's come up with a plan. Okay, if in 6 months we're not here, in a year we're not here, so she could feel like, I'm going to go back into the workforce if things didn't work out. So really it was a kind of a process of doing that, but then it just happened. We're like, here we go, baby,
Yeah. The thing that I love about you is when I talk to you, I don't get that numbers guy. When you describe, you just want to be along with your spreadsheets. I can't imagine because you're very social. You know what I mean? And that spreadsheet guy is the one with the glasses, really wide rimmed bottle coat kind of glasses and a pencil pocket. Pencil holder in his short sleeve shirt kind of thing. And you just are not that guy.
And I think you're right. And I think I spent 30 years being that guy, and I could do it. I can do the math. And so I did it, but I always sort of found those non-traditional roles. Like I was an actuary, which the joke is an outgoing actuary is the one that looks at the other person's shoes in the elevator. And it's true, like exactly what you said, like these are my people, right? And so I did that for 30 years, but yeah, when I would find these glimpses of other things, like I did a lot of speaking because actuaries can't do speaking. So I was the one that would go to the conferences and talk about, the analytical stuff because I wasn't afraid of it and, resonated with people. So yeah, I think I walked that tension for a long time, and I still do to some degree. Like, when I go a week or two and I'm not analyzing something, I go like, well, should I be? Because, you spend 30 years doing that. And so I take that as a great compliment because I do want to be somebody who can solve the complex problems, yet be able to communicate them in a way that actually makes sense.
Yeah, you're definitely approachable. And so small business.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I know you said you talked to your wife and you said, this is the plan and we'll look at it and revisit it.
Yeah.
You can feel safe because I do have a plan. So was the plan small business?
No, no.
Yeah.
The plan was, again, wrestling with my identity a little bit and what I knew. The plan was I'm going to do like analytical consulting for people. So I did some of that working for the bigger businesses. I got a call from somebody in California, no connection at all. And he said, hey, do you do executive coaching? I said, yeah. And then I Googled,
I love
what
it.
is
Yeah, you
executive
need
coaching?
that. I could do that. Absolutely.
Right. Are you going to pay me? Yeah. Because at that point, it's like, I'll do anything. Like I officiate weddings, I do speaking, I do podcast, like anything to scrape a dollar together when you're just getting started.
Yeah.
And so I really thought it would be more on the analytical side of things. And then that coaching sort of spurred me into like, oh, I like this. I like the one-on-one. I like helping roll up my sleeves and help people understand, get clarity on what's going wrong. So I love that. So that kind of morphed into some business coaching, some personal coaching. But really, it wasn't until COVID started that I was still kind of struggling with what is my niche? Like, what is my niche? And I surrounded myself with people that I knew would be honest with me, that really knew me. And we just said, all right, let's figure this thing out. And it was a process. It was painful. And I had to kind of overcome my own, my own thoughts about who I should be. And long story short, it was small businesses. Like, these are my people. I'm a rural guy. I like these small businesses. I love the mom and pop shops. I connect with them and I can bring a lot of value to them. Like in the corporate world, I'm a good contributor, good manager, right? But honestly, at those big companies, I worked for several Fortune 500 companies. There's a lot of really, really smart people. I don't know how much I'm contributing marginally more than the next person.
Yeah, you're a small fish in a big pond, a really big
pond. And it's not even about like my ego or anything. It's just like a lot of people could do this. It's hard, but a lot of people could do this. But when I walk into, a city council meeting, or I walk into a meeting with, a tire shop, and I start helping them unpack some things, the difference is huge. Like, I feel like this is my niche. This is where I come alive because I know I'm helping them. This is where they're giving me that positive encouragement. And we're literally changing the fabric of communities by doing this. And so that sort of solves my other issue, which is I want to make a difference in the world. I want to be remembered. I want to have impact. And so this kind of combines both of those pieces.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I did not know, I've met you during the course of COVID as well, but I did not know that small business came about during COVID.
Yeah. And that's really where it started getting the idea for it. So I started working with small businesses one-on-one, but it really wasn't even until May or June where this concept of let's connect these small business owners with each other so that they can collaborate. Let's start working with cities so that they can actually help fund the transformation of their business community. Let's create a membership site so they can connect that way. So it really wasn't, honestly, until, several months into COVID that this sort of vision emerged and just really connected with it. Yeah. So it's really a pretty new endeavor.
Nice. Very, very nice. And how's it going for you?
It's going well. We're still kind of finding our niche, but I've been super encouraged. We have received funding from some cities and counties and economic development authorities that have said, we're going to use some COVID dollars, some of the CARES Act funding that came in to actually help our small business community. And that was a big challenge because the guidelines that came from the federal government don't really allow for that, for business coaching. They are really designed to, hey, if you had to put in an air filtration system, here's some money to help reimburse that. And I went to city councils, and the first thing they would say was, no, it doesn't meet the guidelines. And then I'd have to press them that you need to get creative here. What our small businesses need is not just a handout. They do need that to stay open, but they also need new ways of thinking about how can they create new income streams. Let's get them a website. Like 80% of the businesses in our area don't even have a website. Like this is a direct response to COVID. And so I think, we were able to get some precedent there by getting some funding. And so that sort of put us on the map a little bit.
Nice.
So it's going well, but there's still work to be done in terms of really figuring out who we are, what we do, how do we work with the existing infrastructure that's there with the cities, the counties, the foundations, the people that are actually giving business advice for free. We don't want to step on any toes. So it's a dance, but we're definitely figuring it out.
Very nice. Very nice. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go through our signature segment. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Wendy Y here. And I want to extend a personal invitation to you to join the Profitable Coaching Society. It's a growing community of more than 300 coaches, speakers, industry leaders, marketplace influencers, and emerging thought leaders who look, sound, and have businesses just like you. Over in the society, we are talking all things sales and marketing. We're talking personal development. We're talking professional development. And my goal in creating this community is to make sure you have a place where you can come and get sales and marketing support, coaching, tips, strategies, and you also have an opportunity to network with others in the community. So be sure to join me at profitablecoachingsociety.com. That's profitablecoachingsociety.com, and I'll see you over there. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Hey, this is Tanya Smith, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment now so that you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hey, everybody, this is Steve Fredlund, and you are tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with the great Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so that you are notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Millette Jones, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Welcome back. We've been talking to Steve Fredlund of Small Business, and his story is really fascinating, and we're going to hear more about his story in this signature segment, the Profitable Wisdom segment. So the first question I like to ask everyone is, who has had the greatest influence on you in your life?
Yeah, and that's a tough one. I it feels like some people just know, boom, it was my dad, or it was this neighbor, or it was
a lot
this
of
coach.
people, right?
Yeah, and I don't have that. The father piece is lacking. I never had that fatherly role model. I never really had that mentor growing up, and so I didn't even really know what does that look like. Like, what does it even look like? But then I was probably in my mid-20s when I was really just kind of struggling in my career, and I was like, what's going on? I'm successful. I was just named Employee of the Year at a Fortune 500, so it was a big thing, right? But I was like, I'm just kind of dying inside. And this guy who actually was a professor at my MBA course, had no other connection. I reached out to him. I said, I just sense that you're somebody that can maybe help me. Are you willing to meet? And he was, and we met maybe 4 or 5 times. Like, that was it for a couple hours each. And it radically changed my life.
Wow.
And we've kind of reconnected here and there, but really not. He just kind of came in. And so I've had 3 or 4 of those folks just over the last, my 50 years of living that have sort of popped up either at the right time by happenstance or whatever you want to call it. But I consider them mentors. I don't know that they would consider me a mentee, but they were the right, it was a boss.
I'm sure they recognized that they were pouring into you, as they say.
I think so too. But none of them lasted a long time. It'd be like 3-4 months of just kind of getting together, and then I was kind of off on my own. I don't know if that was because I felt like I didn't really need them anymore or whatever. But so I have those 3 or 4 men in my life that have just been at the right time, at the right place, just said the right thing. Mm-hmm. The first guy just sort of said, what you're doing is you're grieving a loss of your strengths. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Yeah. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't know.
20s?
Yeah, I was in like my late 20s, I guess, at that point.
That,
And I was
that
like, I don't
had
even,
to have been different for you to hear,
oh my God, I didn't even get it. Like, I didn't know the stages of grief. I didn't know there was a thing called the Strengths Finder. I didn't even really think I had strengths. I was just good at math, right? And so it was really a weird thing for him to say. And then he kind of broke it down. And I was like, whoa, I had just switched jobs and I had moved from doing the things that are really inside of me, internally valuable, things like learning, things like relating to other people, those pieces. He said, you've moved into a job now. And this is kind of back to the analytical thing. I was now just me and my spreadsheets. And I thought that was perfect for me, but I had lost that relational piece of it. He said, you're grieving the loss of your strengths. And that just was like, boom, blew my mind, and it just gave me even a new paradigm for thinking about myself and life. So a huge impact on my life.
Nice. So what's the best business advice you've ever received?
Yeah, and it's business advice that I'm still working on. It's niche down. Niche down, find your niche. And everybody said that, I'm 2 years into my new, gig of working for myself. You got to niche down. I'm like, yeah, but if I niche down, I might lose customers. I might lose them. What if I say I do this, the people over here aren't going to hire me and I need money. And, if there's this big, so then logically I got it, but I still wasn't practicing it really until this small business thing. And even now I'm still feel like I need to niche down further. And the reason it's such good advice is because then people that know what they're looking for find you, versus finding a generalist. It's exactly like, and I knew all this logically, but it really took kind of experiencing it. If I have, if my back went out, I want to find a doctor that specializes in backs, right? I don't want to say, hey, find a doctor. And it's like, there's a generalist. Well, no, I'm going to keep searching. I'm looking for that one person that specializes in lower back pain. And so I think that's really what it is. That was great advice, but it's taken me a while to actually internalize it. And I'm still kind of reminding myself every day.
I think what happens is when you're in that space where, as you said, you'll miss out on people, people won't hire you if you don't do this or do that. I think what you find is being in that space, you end up being a jack of all trades. Totally. And, people aren't looking, especially in today's marketplace, for the jack. They want someone who is, like you said, a specialist in helping people with their back. And I love that you're clear, even if it's not as clear as you feel like it should be. I love that you're clear on small business as your target audience.
And it's, honestly, it's you get more business that way, but people don't have to be in that niche to say, I want you. We specialize now in a certain thing, and, like helping cities kind of recast their vision and igniting the business growth, right, of the actual individual businesses. Well, that means, but nonprofits have found us and said, hey, can you do the same for us? So, it doesn't mean you have to be exclusionary in that thing. Plus, it's just so much more inefficient to do all of those things. Like I think about even like speaking, I do a fair amount of speaking, and I'd be like, hey, if you want a speaker, just let me know. I'll talk about anything. And then every time you're doing it, you're writing a new talk. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm spending like 20 hours preparing for this talk that's going to pay me $500. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's not worthwhile to
no, but once you say, okay, I speak on this, then people know what it is, and then you already spoken on it. You tweak a few things, and there you go. And it's the same thing with talk. Business. Yeah, it's a signature talk. And just like, my contracts now, I know here's the template for a contract because this is what I do. I don't need to create a whole new contract or proposal every single time somebody wants to do business with me. So it helps you in the business, in getting business, but it also helps you on the back end in the efficiency.
The thing that I love too is when you're in that space where you're trying to niche down, what happens is just because you've niched down doesn't eliminate other people. What Correct. They do is they see the resonance in your message. They see the resonance in your service, and they don't care that they're not specifically mentioned in who you serve. You know what I mean? They're like,
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Like if I were to say, I come into, if I just say sort of generally, I come into an organization, I help you get clarity. Like if I just said that, like that opens it up for any organization to do that. But people are like, I don't get it. I don't know what you do. If I say I will come into a city government, and I will help you clarify what the vision is for that city so you can radically transform so that you can be ready for the next century. Well, I'm not saying that's what I'd say, but if I said that, then they know, they get excited. It's something compelling. But a nonprofit or a Fortune 500 company will look at that and go like, "Oh, I bet he could help us too," because they get it, they know what it is. So I think that is
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has been your greatest single sale? What's the amount and the circumstances? I love asking this question.
Yeah, and we're fairly new, but the biggest one is the city of Pine City. So we went to the city council.
Is that in Minnesota?
Pine City, Minnesota. Yeah, sorry, I'm local boy. Like everybody knows Pine City, right? It's got like 4,000 people. How do you not know Pine City? It's a big city. It's like 4,000. Yeah, the city of Pine City, Minnesota. We went to the city council proposing that we use some of their CARES Act funding for helping their businesses. And they were in a place where they said, we need to kind of rebuild our relationship with our businesses. And we just need it. The city's dying, and they were able to kind of free up those funds. So $20,000, which for us is huge. So they freed that up, and they said, all right, go help as many businesses as you can. So we came back with a proposal on what that looks like, how many businesses we could help. We built like 10 websites for small businesses in this one community.
Nice.
We provided marketing training for all 10 of them. And then all of them plus another 6 folks we did business coaching for, like 4 hours of business coaching, helping them clarify and kind of overcome some things. And we're already seeing some great results from that. And so, as far as getting the money, it was huge because like, oh, this could really happen, right? Like this could really happen. Like this is pretty awesome. And it was the money, but it was also the precedent. We knew that if we could get a city to give funding, that could open doors, because that's the first question we always get. Well, who else has done that? Yeah. And so, so it was $20,000, that we could then use to work with other coaches and trainers and give them that the stuff that they need, the actual training that they need and the website they need. And it's been super fun.
Awesome. So what'd you guys do to celebrate?
Yeah, this is an area I need to work on. Wendy, why? Maybe you can help me. I think it looked like this. I think it was a fist pump.
Okay.
And then I started reaching out to the coaches that I needed to have help me with the project.
Yeah.
Like it's still, I wouldn't, it's still not a breakthrough thing. I'm curious to know what'll happen when we get like that big breakthrough ongoing contract where it's like, I can finally breathe. Cause I'm still, it's still sort of day to day, month to month. Like, are we going to get enough revenue to keep this thing afloat? It's still like in that place. So it was a huge win for us. It kind of, it helped me have an easier conversation with my wife. Like, hey, we got the money. Like, okay, good. I don't need to worry about my 6-month plan right now. But I'm not great at celebrating. It's an area of weakness for me. So sort of fist pump, let's go on to the next thing.
It's never too late to celebrate. So you have my permission to go and celebrate it. No matter how long ago it was, you can still celebrate it. Sometimes people can do just a happy dance and that's enough. So don't feel like it's got to be some big thing that you do to celebrate. The fist bump is a celebration. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe when it goes a little bit beyond 20,000, you'll be like, hey, instead of the fist bump, we're going to do, in addition to the fist bump, we're going to do the happy dance, or we're going to go out, take the whole team out for dinner or whatever it is. I just believe when you celebrate your micro wins as well as your large wins, it just carries you to the next place,
Yeah, I agree. I think
where you have another windfall, it really does. It really does.
Love it. Sorry to interrupt you there. No, I totally agree. I think the one thing I struggle with, and maybe some of your listeners struggle with this too, is, I'm a first person in my family anywhere that works for myself. And I guess my brother does, he's an architect. So people get that, right? But my wife doesn't really get it, working for yourself. My friends don't really get it. They're all teachers or whatever. Of course, my network is all people that work in corporate America. They think I'm crazy. My family doesn't get it. So it's hard to celebrate because I don't really have this built-in network of people that are like rooting for me. They're all rooting for me, but they don't get it. I go to a family thing and they don't understand what it's like to own your own business and to be not just, cashing a check every 2 weeks. And so I don't really have that network of people around me that kind of get it, that encourage me, that are like, hey, way to go. I know that's a big deal. They're just like, oh, okay. Hey, I'm working with the city of Pine City. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like nobody gets it. And so,
Yeah.
so I think, the celebration piece, I do have my business partner, he's in Canada. And then with COVID, of course, we can't get together and say, hey, let's go out to have a meal to celebrate. So it just sort of changes things. So I think that is a part I'd love to, get surrounded by a group of people that get it,
So I have an assignment for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I didn't come on here to get assignments.
I know, but it just came to me and I'm like,
all right,
you got to give him this assignment. Your assignment is to assemble a mastermind of people who look like you. And what I mean by that is they're entrepreneurs. So they understand the daily grind of entrepreneurship. They are relatively successful. So they're coming to the same place that you are, where you've experienced a measure of success. Assemble a group that looks like you. They have goals to get to a certain milestone in their businesses. They have, they know something you don't know. That's another part of it. People that know something you don't know. Right. Assemble a mastermind group so that you have people that you can always look to as thought partners.
I love that. And I lead a couple of mastermind groups, but that's the thing is that I'm leading, right? I'm facilitating.
Yeah, you're the sage. You need people who are equally sage.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. That is something I need. And I've joined a couple of different networking groups over the last couple of years, and they're like, it's fine, but not to be, it's just, they think at a different plane. Like in rural Minnesota, I'm working with people that are like, they're fine as long as they get enough revenue to cover the paycheck. Like I'm not around people that want to grow a business and actually, or even create a business. They want to create a job, and so I think that's a very fair assignment for me, is to do that, because I think that would give me so much more life, because then you can bring to the group. I would love to have that group to say, because it's not an arrogant thing. It's just, I want somebody to get it. I want somebody to say, oh man, that is a big deal for where you're at in your business, to be able to partner with the city and have that precedent and work with, 15 businesses. That's a great thing. And so, I need that. That's a good assignment.
And let me recommend too, because I know you have your own podcast as well. Let me recommend that you start with some of the people that you've interviewed on your podcast, because I've watched a couple of your episodes and listened to a couple of your episodes. And I think that your mastermind community of thought partners is there. Yeah. Totally there.
Oh, so everybody I interview, yourself included, I'm like, oh, they'd be great to hang out with, right? They have so much knowledge. So that's very good wisdom.
Look, just ask. I'm available. I'm here. See,
all right.
They just have your first member. So hey.
All right, Wendy, we might have to be starting that. We'll be talking about that next time.
I love it. So we all go through times in our business, in our lives, where we think of giving up. What has helped you move through those situations to stay the course in your business? And I know it's still new, but but I've had those 2 years. It's like you think of quitting, every other day sometimes,
100%. And I think if you're out there listening and you never had those thoughts, congratulations. Like that's a big thing. I mean, because I was a very capable person, a lot of education, but there were those times like, what am I doing? Like, is this worth it? And even today, I know it's worth it now, but I still when I'm working the 14-hour days, 7 days a week and going, man, the corporate world sounds kind of nice. There are those things, but this kind of gets back to the prior one where I don't have that built-in network of people that are encouraging me, saying, man, you got this, and so I really had to be self-reliant on that. And I think that's been zapped a lot of energy in doing that as well. And so, to answer the question, how I get over it, it's sort of looking at my life sort of holistically and saying, what do I really want from this life today? What do I want 3 years from now? And so it's keeping that white hot vision in front of me, that I believe that I can build a business that is grounded in my strengths, where the time that I spend is really going to be what my skill set is, where I'm not doing all the administrative stuff because I'm just really bad at it. But I have a vision for, okay, I can get in front of people, I can motivate, I can inspire, I can help communities transform. And I believe I can get to a point where I could do that on 30 to 40 hours a week. So it's that vision. And I'm a big believer in vision. And so when I look at that, I say, am I still on track for that? Yes, it's really hard today, but am I still on track for that? Excuse me. Can I still get there? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, well, let's go. Let's take that next step toward that. But it is a really internally generated motivation at this point. And I'm an introvert, and so it does kind of work for me. But I think to your point, I need sort of that cheering crowd, or the few people that are, when I'm running the marathon, that are handing me the water and saying, you got this. I think I do need a little bit of that.
Yeah, for sure. The thing that I know is, even after almost 19 years, I still have those moments myself. And I love that you sort of reconnect and recalibrate based on vision, and you ask yourself, hey, am I still on track? Is this still the vision? Has the vision changed? Because sometimes it's just circumstances that you've got to move through, whatever those circumstances are. You lose a proposal, you lose a big client, whatever it is. It's a circumstance. So you just move through it. And I think that's important. So what has been your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
Yeah, I would say it's the work that I've done in Rwanda. So about 10 years ago, end of 2009, started a nonprofit doing work in Rwanda, Africa, northern area of Rwanda, very remote, rural, right? That's my thing. All these rural people, no electricity, no running water.
Wow.
Really, really remote, really, really poor. And we got involved, and I said, I want to unite the people of East Central Minnesota to respond to global poverty, disease, and suffering. And we're going to do that through working in Kivuruga, Rwanda. And it started initially as sort of, I was pulled to the AIDS pandemic in Africa, saying, what can I do? Like, I can't just go on with my life every day, just not involved, and there's a million things, right? For me, that was just sort of the pull was like, I just feel like I need to get involved. And that then led to this idea of community transformation. And so we've had tremendous impact. $3 million we've raised over the last 11 years, no paid staff, no overhead, no major donors.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's unbelievable. I remember standing in front of, but part of it was to unite the people of East Central Minnesota too. So, there's a lot of people, a lot of organizations that weren't working together. And I said, I want to get these people to think at a higher level, to say, you know what? You're different. You know what? Some of you are church, some of you are unchurched, some of you are Lutheran, some of you are Methodist, some of you are, whatever, some of you are business owners, some of you are here, some of you are Republicans, some of you are Democrats, some of you are gay, some of you are straight. But for the purpose of helping this community, I want us to think at a higher level and really challenge people. And that's what I'm proud about, is we did it. I remember standing in front of a group in 2009 before I took the first group on our first trip. And there's like 60 people that gathered, like, to hear what I had to say, which was great, but it was like, whatever. And I told them, I said, in the first 10 years, I want us to raise $1 million. This is 2009, like the financial market. Right. This is rural Minnesota, right?
This is right after the market crash.
Yeah, no, the horrible timing in a very blue collar city. And people kind of said, you can't put visions out there like that. It's so demotivating for people to hear that, because it's just not going to happen. Well, here we are, 11 years later, almost $3 million. We've taken 4 trips, changed the world, changed the lives of all those people over there, changed the lives of everybody that's been on the trip, people that have impacted that. And so I'm kind of getting long-winded, but I'm really proud of it. And it's taken me a while to actually admit that I'm proud of it, because I feel like that seems arrogant. That's my own self issues. But when you walk in there, and on the last trip that we took, we had been raising money for a number of different things. And I think you'll like this story, but I'll try not to make it too long. But one of the things that I was so stirred by on the first trip was the maternity center, quote unquote. It was a single room, 2 beds, again, no electricity, no running water, no floor drain, just horrible, like just awful. The people giving babies, if they even made it there, were in the same waiting room as the people with malaria and tuberculosis and all these things. Yeah. And I kept saying, how can we help this? And, but it was a very sequential ordering of things to try to get to self-sustainability. So first we need to get them clean water. We need to get them disease prevention. We need to get education. We need to get them to learn how to grow things in the soil there. And like, how do we help this? And so anyway, we kept raising money. We kept doing our thing. They didn't tell me that they were working on this, right? I'm going to cry on your show. They didn't tell me. Nobody told me. And then we're walking to the maternity center because each trip we wanted to take the trip to that place to show people kind of the different things in the area. And we started walking up this hill, whatever, the long hill, and all the people, the staff are kind of looking at me kind of funny. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't get what's going on. Did they say something in Kenya, Rwanda, and I didn't get? Whatever. So we get to the top of the hill and they had built a new maternity center.
Wow. I knew you were going to say that, but I didn't expect they would unveil it to you in that.
Yeah. That's how they wanted to do it. They wanted to surprise me. And I fell to the ground. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was a mess for the next 2 days. But I'm proud of that because it's a reflection of the community building that was done in East Central Minnesota. It's a reflection of a powerful vision. It shows what a powerful vision can do. And it's a reflection of these good-hearted people that most of them are never going to go to Africa. But they said, you know what? I believe in that. And I want to be part of something bigger than myself. And we were able to create that. And that moment, I tell you, ooh, baby.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years and I still can't tell the story.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you just told the story and it's a powerful story.
Without the gumdrop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
It's a powerful story. So thank you for sharing. So we're going to come back in just a second. And I want you to think about everything we've talked about, Steve. And if there's a nugget that you want to share, I'd love for you to share it when we come back.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Awesome. Hi everyone, Wendy Y here, and I want to extend a personal invitation to you to join the Profitable Coaching Society. It's a growing community of more than 300 coaches, speakers, industry leaders, marketplace influencers, and emerging thought leaders who look, sound, and have businesses just like you. Over in the society, we are talking all things sales and marketing. We're talking personal development. We're talking professional development. And my goal in creating this community is to make sure you have a place where you can come and get sales and marketing support, coaching, tips, strategies, and you also have an opportunity to network with others in the community. So be sure to join me at profitablecoachingsociety.com. That's profitablecoachingsociety.com, and I'll see you over there. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Hi, I'm Sherry Burke, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversations show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Simon T. Bailey, and you are tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Listen, it's an amazing show. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you know when the next episode is coming your way.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brian Oles from Black Speakers Network, and you know what time it is. You're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversations show with Wendy Y. Bailey. I want you to go ahead right now and like, comment, subscribe, and review right now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
So welcome back. We've been talking in this episode with Steve Fredlund of Small Business, and he shared some really yummy information about his journey that I think will help viewers, listeners to really, look at your businesses in a different way. So if there's one thought that you'd love for people tuning in to walk away with that, out of everything we've talked about, it's a parting thought for you. What is that nugget?
Yeah, and it's sort of a corollary to the stuff that we've talked about, and it's really about living life intentionally. I think so many of us live our life by default. We figure there's a certain way to live, right? It's what we were told by our parents, or it's the environment that we grew up in, or it's a school we attended, or the friends that we have, and we just sort of think that this is how you're supposed to live life. And it's kind of the trap that I fell into. Well, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm good at math. I'm supposed to get a degree in math, and I'm supposed to work at a Fortune 500 company. I'm supposed to provide for my family in this way. I'm supposed to believe this certain thing and act this certain way. And I think we accept these defaults on us. We allow them to be put on us, and we don't even know that there's so many more ways to make money. There's so many more ways to live life. We don't even realize that there's options. Like, that we have control and there's options. And so, my encouragement is really, surround yourself with the people that you need to, and really kind of assess how are you wired? What would give you the most life? What would lead you to the greatest level of success? Whatever you define success is, it doesn't have to be money. Whatever your success is, what would that look like? And then intentionally pursue it. Don't just accept what you're supposed to do, what you should do, what the world tells you to do. And you might even have to look foolish. But what I've learned in 50 years, and I wish I could go back at least another 30, is figure out the kind of life that you want to live, the kind of business that you want to have, the type of platform you want to communicate from, and go after it. Go after it.
Vision again.
Yeah, it's vision again. But it starts with knowing, what does that look like? And that's hard. So you might have to surround yourself with the right people that can help you formulate that. But then go after it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. And I appreciate you being here. What a delightful conversation.
It was so fun. And I'm used to being on that side of the microphone when you ask all of the questions. It's kind of a comfortable place, but it is fun once in a while to actually to share my story. I really don't share my story very often. And so I'm honored that you would think that would be worthy of your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to share it a whole lot more.
Thank you, Wendy White.
You totally do. So thanks everyone for being here, and we'll see you next time for another great episode. Be sure to join us at the Profitable Coaching Society, and we will see you for the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from Wendy Y. and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.